Welcome back. All right, so I went with Johnny Canuck with the. I know these don't technically match, but the hat, they're both Johnny Canuck, and it's my green Johnny Canuck jersey because St. Patrick's Day and all that, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day and all that. So I figured green jersey, winning team. And that's the only one I got. I don't have St. Patrick's Day jerseys of enough teams. You know what's weird though too? So I've seen a lot of, hey, go buy a St. Patrick's Day jersey now online, and I'm thinking, why are they advertising it today? Tomorrow it's not St. Patrick's Day anymore. Why aren't they advertising the St. Patrick's Day jerseys and putting them on sale, say 2 weeks beforehand? And hey, everybody, go out and get your. It's just I've noticed a whole bunch of advertising over the last couple of days, and I'm thinking, if you order that online, you don't get it by St. Patrick's Day. So it's bizarre to me. All right, so that aside, let us start things off with not ridiculousness. This is ridiculousness. We're going to start off with Vancouver and Ottawa. And yes, these are brand new magnets on the board because I'm always bringing in new ones. Vancouver. I don't want to believe this can happen because their next matchup is Montreal. And I have to say, this is another game tonight where Ottawa really could have won this. They really could have, and they nearly did. So Mott returns. VC was a late scratch. What happened was his work visa is only for him to play for the Leafs. So his work visa, he's American, he's playing in Canada. So he has to get his work visa changed so he can play for the Canucks. So it wasn't done in time for him to play tonight. So they end up having Chatfield in the lineup instead. So Besser scores from Horvat and Schmidt at 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Not too shabby. Mott looked good in the return as well. The shots were 3-0 at 3 minutes. The Sens pushed back a little, but the Canucks looked really, really sharp. They did. Demko stopped a good chance from Stützle, and then Höglander, he gets a puck to Horvat at 8:26. Now, Ottawa wasn't happy with that because they felt that Chabot got tripped by Höglander, who was taking the puck away from him. I think that call could have gone either way. Dorian clearly wasn't happy, but his night was going to get worse before it got better. But yeah, that made it 2-0. Tierney then had a break that was denied. The Canucks pressed with 8 minutes left in the period. But the Sens were much better in that second half of that period, and they started playing more like we know Ottawa can. Norris had a chance that was stopped. The Senators get a power play. That was killed off. We go to the second period. Senators made an early push, and then Ryan Dzingel, who looks at home in Ottawa. I honestly, if I was him, I would think about sticking around in Ottawa. I would. He's got 4 goals in 8 games with Ottawa. It just works. He scores from Batherson and Wolanin at 3 minutes. Tkachuk then rushed as the Sens were trying to tie it, and I thought the Canucks were having problems with turnovers. I was like, okay, now we're back into the land of too many turnovers. Senators then press 8 minutes in. Stützle had a shot go wide, and it was a 40-shot pace that the Senators were on at that stage. They had over 20. They had 20 shots in less than half of the game. So I was like, okay, 40 shots is a little much. And the funny thing was, the announcers kept saying, well, they look better than they did in the last game. And at that stage, I was like, they don't, though, because if they allow 40 shots, there's still an issue here. They're ahead, but there's an issue. Canucks didn't get their first power play. During that power play, JT Miller would hit the post, but that power play is killed off. Canucks pressed after it ended. Batherson then had a break that kind of fizzled out at the end of it. Stützle draws a penalty with 2:04 left. During that power play, Sutter had a chance, shorthanded, that he fired wide. So we go to the third period. It's 2-1 for Vancouver. And you get the feeling this game's really close, because it is. Early press by the Senators. Stützle had a chance that was blocked. Decord. So Joey Decord goes down hurt. It looked like he twisted his ankle. Immediately you could see Pierre Dorion on the phone. So they picked up Antoine Forsberg on waivers. I'm saying it right now. Forsberg plays the next game. Unless they liked what Gustafsson did. Gustafsson went in his first NHL appearance. No warning. Goes in cold. And he did pretty well, considering the situation he was in here. But yeah, Decord went down and it did not look good. He wasn't putting weight on the foot of the knee, well, on the leg that he twisted the knee of. So we'll see how long Decord's going to be out. Pearson was out as well at this stage. It looked like he rolled his ankle. And so I don't know if Pearson's going to be okay, but if Canuck history tells me anything, he'll recover probably a week after the trade deadline. So Power play then for the Canucks. It gets no shots. The Senators press with 5 minutes left, and they were pretty darn good late in this game, but we go to overtime. Senators controlled early. Hughes got stuck on the ice. It felt kind of like Shabbat being stuck on the ice in the last one. Crossbar then for Besser, and then the Sens had a 2-on-1, and I believe it was Dadonov that went offside. So we end up going to a shootout. In the shootout, both goalies looked very good. Again, Gustafsson, not too shabby for a guy who's never played in the NHL. Gaudette, though, gets the game winner in the shootout. So the Canucks win 3-2 in a shootout. They go to 15-16-2. Ottawa drops to 10-20-3. So it took until extra time for both games for Vancouver, and it took a shootout in this one. But they emerge with 4 points from Ottawa. Now, their season likely comes down to how do they play in Montreal. And if they end up winning those games, yeah, they're right back into this. Although Calgary may allow them back in too. So the shots in this one were 9-7 Ottawa in the first, 13 apiece in the second, and the third Vancouver outshoots Ottawa 8-7. In the overtime, Ottawa outshoots Vancouver 2-1. Final shots 32-29 in favor of the Senators. Power plays, both teams went 0 for 2. Demko saved 30 out of 32. He just played really well again. Decord saves 19 out of 21, and then Gustafsson saved all 8 shots in relief, and that's the star of the game to me, as the guy who comes in relief, never played a game in the NHL, and he gets them a point. In fact, pretty quickly after he went into the net, Norris gets that tying goal. So, yeah, Norris from Brown at 5:34 ties it up, and they end up getting a point out of this. All right. Now that non-crazy game, where you get a 5th string or 8th string goalie, whatever they're on, in Ottawa's done, let's talk about this. The Flyers and the Rangers. And you don't want to overreact to one game, but this was ugly. This was so ugly. And if you're the Rangers, you needed this. This is the kind of game the New York Rangers desperately needed. So the Rangers wearing their reverse retros, beautiful Lady Liberty jerseys. New York Rangers also had a substitute coaching staff. Quinn and the regular coaching staff all out due to COVID protocols. And here we go. Because for the Rangers, they now had Chris Knobloch behind the bench. And if you're like, who? Right. Turns out he's pretty good. Or the Rangers don't need a coach. Or the Rangers were very happy not to have Quinn behind the bench. You guys can all let me know in the comment section which one you think it is. But the results seem to state, I get a feeling that Quinn's getting a phone call from the team and being told, take your time. Take your time. We don't, you know what? Maybe set this one up. We'll put you on LTIR, and you just take all the time you need. And if his answer is, I feel fine. It wasn't me. It's nope. We want you to be safe, Mr. Quinn. So Flyers and Elliott killed off an early power play for the Rangers. JVR was then denied by Georgiev, and I was taking notes as if this was going to be a regular game. Little did I know. Lemieux scores from Fox and Howden at 7:05. And, I mean, if you'd told me, well, that's the game winner, I would have thought, oh, okay, well, it's a good defensive battle then, right? No. And it was a fantastic play by Fox. Adam Fox back off the protocol list, along with Buchnevich. Clearly the rest really helped these guys. JVR then had a shot blocked on a turnover, and the shots were 5-2 for the Flyers at 8.5 minutes. The Flyers had a good start. It doesn't matter. The Rangers go back to the power play. Elliott denied Lafreniere. Lafreniere had opportunities tonight. He was one of the few Rangers who just couldn't buy one. Panarin would then score from Strome at 14:47. That makes it 2-0. Hayes was stopped by Georgiev after that. And in the last moment, there was a post for Capo Caco. So both Caco and Lafreniere not able to get on the board tonight, but they tried. So we go to the second period. It's only 2-0. No idea what was coming. And the shots in the first period indicated the Flyers weren't playing badly. They just weren't getting the breaks. So Lindgren fired a chance wide. And then everything went in after that. Buchnevich scores from Zibanejad at 1:38. 2 minutes later, Buchnevich scores again from Trouba and Zibanejad. And, that one went in off Sanheim's skate. That one, I think he was trying to get it to Kreider, went in off Sanheim's skate. Flyers get a needed power play. Farabee was absolutely robbed. That would have made it 4-1. Probably not much of a difference maker, but still. The power play then ended soon after that. And then Jacob Trouba gets his first of the year from Zibanejad and Buchnevich at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. For those keeping track at home, Buchnevich now had 3 points in that period, and Zibanejad had 3 as well. That's a pretty good period of hockey. Zibanejad, who all year we've talked about how, he's kind of slow. I think tonight it's just like it just clicked. It just all there. He's good. So Flyers in trouble. Elliott was out. Carter Hart goes in, and those first 5 goals, all 5 of them scored with Sanheim and Myers on the ice. All of them. So it's not like you blame them necessarily, because that's just the matchup they got tonight. But it doesn't look good that you're the defensive pairing that's on the ice for every single goal to that stage of the game. Flyers then go back to the power play. Here's your chance. Nope. Zibanejad, unassisted. He adds a goal to his 3 assists at 8:27. The Rangers get a power play. Mika goes, my turn. Even though it's not his turn, he just had a turn. He scores anyways. He gets a power play goal to go with a shorthanded goal from Panarin and Strome at 14:29. So Panarin with a goal and an assist to this stage of the game. Mika Zibanejad looks at the stat sheet and goes, all right, I got a shorthanded goal, I got a power play goal, I have the last 2 goals. So if I get this, I get a natural hat trick, right? Do I get curly fries in Michigan when I get a hat trick? No? Can I? You're going to buy me curly fries when we play Detroit? And probably the coach is thinking, we don't play Detroit, but sure, yeah, all right. Because he's a substitute coach, so he doesn't know better. And so, expecting curly fries, Zibanejad gets the natural hat trick, and it's a 5-on-5 goal from Kreider and Buchnevich at 18:37. So natural hat trick. 6 points, which ties an NHL record for points in a period of hockey. And it beat the record. But the Rangers' record was 5, set in 1933 by Bill Cook. Yeah, you want to hear about Bill Cook, you have to go through my historical videos, where I did the historical videos with a video for each season of the NHL. Bill Cook, I know I mentioned in those videos. So, yeah, that made it a lot of goals to nothing. Keep in mind I have 7 on my game day board here of each team, so I had to go dig into my reserves for this. And then they weren't done. Hedl scores from Hayek and Lafreniere at 1939. So before the end of the period, Lafreniere does get on the board. He does get an assist. Kakko, no points for him tonight. And it's 9-0 after 2. Now, this is where hockey is different now than it was in the 80s when you'd see scores like this. In the 80s, if you were beating the Flyers 9-0 in the third period, you would die. They would put every Flyer over the boards who could possibly murder people, which was all of them, and the Rangers would have to forfeit because they'd be dead. So the shots were 4-0 Flyers at 6.5 minutes. Hart stops the chance from Fox. I figured, why not write that on the board? So, and then the New York crowd, being the MSG crowd, are chanting, we want 10. And I thought, you know what? The Rangers hearing this, they have to think about it. And at the same time, they're thinking, you know what? This has been a penalty-free period. It's been a really quiet period. If we get that 10th goal, they might start finding some guys who can come out on the ice to start some trouble. So they didn't get 10. They also didn't goon it up at the end like they would have in the 80s. Like I said, in the 80s, this would have been a bloodbath in the third period. This would have been there could have been a bench clearing brawl in the mid 80s over this. But we end at 9-0. It only counts as one game. So the Rangers are 12-12-4. This is a big loss though for Philly, who go to 14-10-3. Their goaltending and their defense tonight, just abysmal. And again, it's not all on Carter Hart and Brian Elliott. But it's not all on the defense either. It's kind of a whole picture thing going on there. So the shots are 8-6 for Philly in the first, 17-8 in favor of the Rangers in the second. They had 17 shots in the second period, and 7 of them went in the net. So, yeah. Third period, the Flyers outshoot them 10-6. The shots were only 29-26 for the Rangers, which is insane. Power plays, Flyers go 0 for 2. The Rangers only got 1 on the power play out of 4 opportunities. Carter Hart saves 8 out of 13. Or no, Elliott saved 8 out of 13. Hart saved 12 out of 16. Georgiev saves 26. So lost in this picture, all of this other stuff going on. Georgiev gets his 6th career shutout, and he looked good. The only question left going to the third was really, is he going to get the shutout? And he did. He looked pretty darn good. So, now we got to go to the other board. All right. So, board number 2, games 3 through 6. Yep. Montreal and Winnipeg up first. I have to say, again, tonight's games really work to the advantage of a team sitting in 6th place, Vancouver, as Montreal and Calgary both were unsuccessful in victories tonight, but Montreal got close. So the Jets are wearing their thirds. I still like the blue thirds. I know I'm one of the few. I apologize. Wheeler would score early. Forbert and Stastny with the assist of 50 seconds. The Jets then had a 2-on-1. That was stopped. They get a power play. That was killed off. But you get the feeling like this could get ugly early. The Canadians then got a power play. Toffoli was stopped, and the Jets would kill that off. Danault's line was hemming in the Jets in that period as well. Philippe Danault was playing some of the best hockey he's played in a while. Romanov then had a shot that was stopped. And then you go the other way. It's Kyle Connor staying red hot. He loves playing Montreal, apparently. He scores from Ehlers and Dubois at 15:46. So the Jets are up 2-0. And then you get a late power play for the Habs. It is unsuccessful. So we go to the second period. Early, Danault scores his second from Gallagher and Tatar at 1:26. That line being back together, it has produced some goals and some excitement. Price then stopped a chance from Appleton, and through the first 7 minutes, that period was pretty evenly played. So Montreal's getting closer. Chances at both ends, 9 minutes in. Jets were getting tired as well in that second half. They had 3 icings in a row, and you have to worry because, of course, on an icing, you can't change your line. The other team can. Connor, though, would score to make it 3-1 from Dubois and Morrissey at 13:42. So Dubois, with 2 assists to that point in the game, and Connor with a couple of goals, as again, he is kind of a Habs killer, apparently. Anderson then took his second period. Josh Anderson took his second penalty of the game. Jets go back to the power play, but the Habs penalty kill was really on point. Very, very good in this one. So you go to the third period. Shots are 4-1 for the Habs at 5.5 minutes. No sooner have I written that on the board than Gallagher scores from Danault at 5:58. And what was interesting was, now I have Danault's name on the board as an assist, but I thought Gallagher just flat out got it all by himself. And it was right off of a lost faceoff. So Jets win the faceoff. Gallagher just jumps on it and puts it in the net. So fantastic goal by Gallagher. And it felt like that was your swing. So now it's 3-2. The Habs are going right for the tie. Price denied Connor the hat trick. Corey Perry had a really good chance. That was stopped. I still do not understand how he cleared waivers. I do not understand how Corey Perry did that. I don't get it, because you can't tell me that there are 30 teams in the NHL who don't have use for him with what he's doing for Montreal. He's been fantastic. And in a limited role, not playing top 6 minutes mostly either. Fourth line for the Habs was robbed. Armia with a good shot there. They pull the goalie with 2:20 left. Now, normally, with the goalie pull, Winnipeg's adept at getting that empty netter. Not tonight. Toffoli gets the goal from Perry and Drouin at 18:35. There's Perry's name again. So that ties it up at 3. And then the Habs went for the win in that final minute. Probably looking at the score and going, you know what, if we can prevent Winnipeg from getting a point tonight, we're in good shape. But we go to overtime. At one end of the ice, a huge save for Hellebuck on Petrie. It goes the other way. It's a 3-on-1. And Dubois throws it over to Ehlers. And at 55 seconds, the Jets avoid blowing it. They win 4-3. They go to 18-9-2. Montreal gets a point. They go to 13-8-8. But again, these overtime loss points are really, really adding up. And they lost a point to Vancouver tonight. So those 2 games at home against Vancouver now are key. They are huge. They can win those in regulation, get themselves some breathing room between themselves and the Canucks. All right. But if the Canucks can come out and win one and maybe win both, we've got a really interesting race in the North. So the shots in this one were 11 each in the first period, 8-7 Winnipeg in the second, 17-10 in the third for Montreal. Both teams had 1 shot in the overtime, including the one that counts for Winnipeg. Final shots, 36-30 for Montreal. Power plays, both teams went 0 for 2. Carey Price, 26 saves on 30 shots. Hellebuck, 33 saves on 36 shots. And there you go. The Winnipeg Jets, they split the 2-game set, and they go to 10-0-1 when they lose a game this year. Yeah, not too bad. All right, next up. All right, so this one ran me out of magnets too. And it didn't start out this way. So the Flames wearing their thirds, which is confusing because they're their regular jerseys from last year. Lindholm was denied on the Flames' first shot, and the Oilers had already had theirs, and it was obvious that maybe defense wasn't going to be fantastic tonight. But, it's the Battle of Alberta. It's not always known for its defensive side of things. McDavid, though, with some magician work out there, he gets a pass over to Nugent-Hopkins at 4:39. It goes in the net. Ethan Bear with the secondary assist on that. McDavid's off and running. It's 1-0. Oilers get a power play. Draisaitl had a chance that was saved, and then on the rebound is Puljujarvi getting a goal from Barrie and Draisaitl at 7:22. So a power play marker makes it 2-0 in favor of the Oilers. McDavid then nearly gets a break at the half. Tanev defended him well. Larson had a shot that was stopped. There was a late power play for the Flames. Things get kind of scrummy in the final minute because it's a Battle of Alberta. Why not? So it's 2-0 Oilers after one, second period. Good start for the Flames. So we're again in a situation where Calgary probably started out a little bit slow. They dig themselves into a hole. Ennis nearly got one at the 5-minute mark. Smith then denied Monahan. Lindholm was denied as the Flames press. And then the other way, it's Dominic Cahoon scoring from Draisaitl and Barrie at 8:39. But the Flames answer within 30 seconds. Lindholm scores from Tkachuk and Dubé at 9:04. So this is where, if you're the Flames, you need the momentum, right? What do? They take another penalty. So the Oilers get a power play. That cuts off their momentum, the Flames' momentum. The Flames would get a late power play as well, and on the penalty kill, Smith with a nice save in that last minute. So third period, the Oilers press. They get an early power play out of that pressure, and they score on it. McDavid from Barrie and Draisaitl at 1:50. This power play tonight looked like it did last year. That's bad news for the rest of the Northern Division. The Oilers go right back to the power play, which was 2 for 3 at this point of the night, and they score again. It's Chason from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Barrie at 3:44. The rout is on. Then at 5:55, they score their sixth. Nurse from McDavid and Puljujarvi, and then less than 3 minutes later at 8:38, they score again. It is Kassian from Haas and Nurse, so Kassian on the board. That's only his second of the year for Gaetan Haas. That's his first point. And we'll see if this depth scoring you see for some of the Oilers tonight, if that keeps up. Now, to the Flames' credit, they don't give up, but at the same time, it kind of felt like the Oilers took their foot off the gas at 7-1, because that happens. They're only up by 6. You might want to put another one in the net. We're not the Rangers. So Backlund would score from Mangiapane at 14:47, and then the Flames get a power play. They do score on it. It's Gaudreau from Tkachuk and Hanifin at 16:04, but that's as close as Calgary's getting. They lose 7-3. They drop to 3-1 under Daryl Sutter. Bag skate tomorrow for these guys is my guess. Just throwing that out there. Probably a lot of drills. It's gonna be like the guy in the Harvey's commercial yelling, "Do more hockey, do more drilling." It's gonna be like that. So, 14-13-3 is the record now for the Flames. 19-13 is the record for the Oilers. The shots in this one, 9 apiece in the first period. 15-13 for Calgary in the second. And then in the third, 9-8 Calgary. So final shots, 33-30 for the Flames. Power plays, Edmonton 3 for 4 and Calgary 1 for 3. Smith saves 30 out of 33. Markstrom, rough night for Markstrom. 23 saves on 30 shots. That is a rough night. And they were like, well, do you think Riddick starts the next game? I bloody hope so. Because either Markstrom's kind of worn out, or the Oilers have a book on him. It's one or the other. So, I would think the next game, you're going to Riddick. And if Riddick plays well, maybe he plays both of the doubleheader, the back-to-backs on Friday and Saturday. So, they're playing Toronto, right? So, you've got to get this all in order, or else Toronto could run up an 8 spot on them too. All right. I'm aware that's a 7, and I'm saying an 8 spot. Just throwing that out there. All right, so, Battle of Alberta goes to Edmonton tonight by a lot. And then at 19-13, feeling a little better than they would have if they were 18-14, considering what's going on behind them. And that Calgary's one of those teams they want to stay ahead of. Okay, next up. I said never count out Vegas, right? I've said this, and this season is starting to feel like their first year. So if you're a Vegas fan, you can go ahead and celebrate. He's still going. He's okay. All right, so it does feel like year one for Vegas right now. So, gold Vegas jerseys. Fleury was sharp early, and then they score. It's Shea Theodore scoring from Pacioretty at 3:45, and then Vegas gets a power play. So this is one of those situations where you're like, all right, so they've got the momentum, now they got a power play with the lead. The Sharks then got a turn on the power play. Stone, prominent with some takeaways early. We're surprised, right? Mark Stone is a beast out there. Delay of game then, Vegas gets power play number 2. The Sharks, though, they do kill that off. Their penalty kill, good early. Fleury then stopped both Shimmick and Donato, and then with a minute and 15 seconds left, the Sharks, they get another power play as well. So there was some power plays back and forth in that first period. Vegas emerges with a 1-0 lead. Second period, Fleury continues denying the Sharks. Wouldn't last very long, but he was denying him early. The shots were 5-3 in their favor at around 6 minutes. And then Nieto, he scores from Meyer and Hurdle at 6:21. And then Mario Ferraro, he gets a goal from Leonard and Kane. And within a minute and a half, approximately, it's a 2-1 lead for San Jose. And they're playing very well. Sharks then get a power play. Vegas scored. I believe it was Reeves that got that one. But Carrier clearly made contact with the goalie before that puck went in the net. So, it's not a penalty, but it's incidental contact, and the goal doesn't count. So that challenge worked, kept it at 2-1, which felt important at the time. Things get scrummy with around 7.5 minutes left, and then LeBanc adds one for San Jose from Kane and Ferraro at 15:07. I also want to say for people who think fighting seems to be up this year, it's up about, I think they said it's 46% fighting's up this year. So yeah, great period for Ferraro, goal and an assist. So yeah, not too bad. Late puck control goes to the Sharks. They emerged from this period with a 3-1 lead, and they were the better team. So we go to the third period. The shots were 2-1 in favor of Vegas. 5.5 minutes in, it felt kind of sleepy. So I wrote up here, come back soon, with a question mark. Because I know it's Vegas. I know what's coming. I'm not surprised. I'm never surprised. They are the Jason Voorhees of hockey teams. You think they're down, and they're not. Power play for Vegas, and they score. And it was a 2-minute on the ice call. And I'm watching the California feed, so they were not happy because they've seen this script before. Glass gets that one from Theodore and Stone at 6:43. Hurdle then had a fight with Stone. There were some odd fights in this game. Momentum was with Vegas, and I thought the fights gave Vegas more momentum as well. I thought the worst thing San Jose did was engage with them. This team plays so much better when they're emotional. Vegas press at the half, and not long after, 10:03. Haig scores from Marchessault and Smith. And then Couture had a fight with Marchessault. So Stone's on the board here. He has a fight. Marchessault's on the board here. He has a fight right after. I don't know what kind of game they're playing, but they were winning it. So Theodore had a chance that was stopped. There was more scrumminess. Theodore didn't want to go with Kane, but Kane, I think, kind of wanted to go with Theodore. And then Reeves. Reeves makes up for the one they took away from him. He scores from Nosek and Whitecloud at 12:27. And then Vegas gets a power play. So this is just complete and total unraveling for the San Jose Sharks. Again, against the Vegas Golden Knights. Interestingly, though, Martin Jones not on the ice. Probably watching from the bench and going, I know how this ends. Don't tell me. I know how this ends. Heartache. So power play goal, Martinez from Nosek and Theodore at 14:46. And then the Sharks get a power play. So it's 5-3 in favor of Vegas, who've scored 4 in a row in the third period. Since I wrote comeback soon, because I know the comeback's happening. And on the power play, to San Jose's credit, they do score. Make it a 1-goal game. Kane scores from Carlson and Hurdle at 15:54. They'd pull the goalie with a minute and 40 left. They did block a couple of attempts by Vegas at the empty net. But all that did was preserve a 5-4 loss. Vegas goes to 26-1. They join Tampa and Carolina as teams with 20 wins so far this year. San Jose 11-13-3. These games in Vegas are just, yeah. This is rough if you're a fan of the Sharks. Shots 11-10 San Jose in the first, 16-11 San Jose in the second, and then in the third 16-6 for Vegas. Vegas has this ability to just turn it on, and it doesn't feel like anybody in their division knows how to stop them when they do. Final shots, 37-33 for Vegas. Power plays, San Jose goes 1 for 3. Vegas goes 2 for 5. So the early penalty kills working for San Jose. Didn't work later. Dubnyk saves 32 out of 37. Fleury saved 29 out of 33. He had a good start. I didn't think he had a great game, and they still win because this is what Vegas does. When Fleury doesn't necessarily have a great game, they just go, oh, I guess we have to get 4 goals then. Oh, let's go get 4 goals. And they get 4 goals. It's just, there you go. That's Vegas. That's Vegas all over. All right, next up, St. Louis. The Blues are in trouble. This is 5 games now without a win, and they've now got 14 wins in 29 games. They're in trouble. Now, they got Bozak back tonight. Tarasenko fighting it a little bit. Last I saw in this game, he didn't have a shot. They talked about that in the third period. And Darren Pang brought up a good point, which is, these guys are going to come back in the lineup, but you don't just expect them to immediately turn everything around and make all the wins happen. And for guys who've been playing further up the lineup and get bumped down, guys are playing different roles. So as the Blues get healthy, it could actually cause them issues over a short period. And since this season is so condensed, you don't have the practice time to work on it. So, for the Kings, excellent game tonight. And those reverse retros, man, I tell you, I don't know why the Kings just don't switch back to purple or foreign blue, if you don't like the term purple. I don't know why they don't just switch back to that color full time. Leave your jerseys the same. That's fine. Leave them as the ones you've got now if you're home and away. And just change them from black to foreign blue or purple, whatever color makes you feel better. Power play for the Kings, they would score on it. So the reverse retros worked well for them tonight. Reverse retros had a good night. The Doughty goal from Kopitar and Iafallo at 3:21. And then, not long after, Grundstrom scores from Moore and Anderson Dolan at 4:19. Anderson Dolan was activated off the injured reserve today. And it wasn't in the news of the day because that was announced after I did my news of the day. But he's such a huge difference maker for the Kings. So the shots were 7-0 5 minutes into this. Ridiculous. The Kings get another power play. The Blues were stuck on 1 shot. The Kings had 8 at that point in the game. And then the Kings would score again. Moore, he scores from Walker and Anderson Dolan at 14-12. So a line that's supposed to be the 4th line, putting up points and looking like anything but a 4th line for the Kings. And then in the last minute, the Blues did get some pressure, but no shots during that. So we go to the second period. Peterson stopped a done chance. The Blues did press at 2.5 minutes. They did show some fight back in that second period. Bennington then made a big save at the other end of the ice. Athanasiou then had a fight with Krug. There were some weird fights tonight. I was like, Athanasiou and Krug? What happened here? Why are these guys fighting? And then it was a better effort by the Blues in the second period. And the fight, to me, felt like Krug trying to fire up his teammates. Peterson then denied Wallman. Wallman had a really good game. Doesn't get on the board, but he did. Power play for the Blues, that's killed off. But then Hoffman gets a goal at 16:29. So that made it 3-1. And you can kind of envision maybe the Kings blowing it. Not tonight. Third period, the shots were only 1 apiece at 4 minutes. The Kings played an excellent shutdown game in that third period. Kopitar, he had a chance to win wide. Anderson Dolan, that line pressed again in the third period, keeping the Blues pinned down, keeping shots against down. Just very good game for them. The Blues had chances that were being blocked. Peterson then denies Wallman again, because why not? You denied him earlier. Falk had a chance that was stopped shortly after that. So Peterson continues to improve as this season goes along. The goaltender gets pulled with 3.5 minutes left, and then Peterson gets an assist on an empty netter that Kopitar had no intention of hitting that net. He was down beside his own net. He had no idea that was going to go in. So he gets a goal at 18:20. That makes it 4-1, and that's your final in this one. The Kings go to 12-10-6, and for the Blues, 14-10-5. No points in this game. So it's a tough loss for the Blues, like I said. Shots in this one, 9-3 LA in the first, 11-7 St. Louis in the second, 8-6 in favor of the Kings in the third. Like I said, very good shutdown game for them. Final shots, 24-20. St. Louis wants to get more than 20 shots in a game. Power plays, St. Louis only had 1. They didn't score. LA was 1 for 2. So this was not an overly dirty game or anything like that either. Bennington saves 20 out of 23. And at the other end, Peterson saved 19 out of 20 in his third straight start. So even though all indications would seem to be that Quick could have gone tonight, they went with Peterson, and it was the right call. So some interesting results. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.